नील नववारिधर सुभग शुभ कांति कटिपीत कौशेय वरवसन धारी रत्नहाटक जटित मुकुट मंडित मौली भानुशत सदृश उद्योतकारी श्रवण कुंडल भालतिलक भ्रुरुचिर अति अरुण अम्भोजलोचन विशालम जानकीनाथ रघुनाथ रागादितमतरणी तारुण्य तनुतेज धामम। मैं किन रघुनाथ जी की वंदना करता हूँ। गोस्वामी जी कहते हैं कि जो रघुनाथ जी राग द्वेष रूपी अंधकार का नाश करने के लिए सूर्य रूप है, तरुण शरीर वाले हैं, ऐसे तेज के भंडार सच्चिद आनंद रूप हैं, वही राम जी की मैं वंदना करता हूँ। वक्र अवलोक त्रैलोक शोकापहम माररिपु हृदय मानसमरालम। मार रिपु, मार यानी कामदेव, कामदेव के दुश्मन भगवान शिव, उन जो शिव जी के हृदय में निवास करते हैं। मार रिपु हृदय मानसमरालम नासिका चारु सुकपोल द्विज वज्र द्युति अधर बिंबोपमा मधुरहासम कंठदार चिबुकवर वचन गंभीरतर सत्य संकल्प सुरत्रासनासम जानकीनाथ रघुनाथ रागादितमतरणी तारुण्य तनुतेज धामम। जुगल पद पद्म सुख साद्म पद्मालयम चिन्न कुलिशादि शोभाति भारी हनुमन्तरुदि विमल कृत परम मंदिर सदा दास तुलसी शरण शोकहारी जानकीनाथ रघुनाथ रागादितमतरणी तारुण्य तनुतेज धामम। सीताराम राम राम 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 सीताराम राम सीताराम राम 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 सीताराम राम 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 सीताराम राम राम सीताराम राम यस्यांके च विभाति भूधरसुता देवापगामस्तके भाले बालविदुर्गले च गरलं यस्योरसि व्यालराट् सोऽयं भूतिविभूषण सुरवर सर्वाधिपः सर्वदा सर्वः सर्वगतः शिवः शशिनिभः श्रीशङ्करः पातु माम् भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धा विश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्थमीश्वरं वन्दे बोधमयं नित्यं गुरुं शङ्कररूपिणं यमाश्रितो हि वक्रोऽपि चन्द्रः सर्वत्र वन्द्यते सीतारामगुणग्राम पुण्यरण्यविहारिणौ वन्दे विशुद्धविज्ञानौ कवीश्वर कपीश्वर उद्भवस्थितिसंहारकारिणीं क्लेशहारिणीं सर्वश्रेयस्करीं सीतां नतोऽहं रामवल्लभाम् शान्तं शाश्वतमप्रमेयमनघं निर्वाणशान्तिप्रदं ब्रह्मा शम्भुफणीन्द्रसेव्यमनिशं वेदान्तवेद्यं विभुं रामाख्यं जगदीश्वरं सुरगुरुं मायामनुष्यं हरिं वन्देऽहं करुणाकरं रघुवरं भूपालचूडामणिं नान्यस्पृहा रघुपते हृदये स्मदीये सत्यं वदामि च भवान्नखिलान्तरात्मा भक्तिं प्रयच्छ रघुपुङ्गवनिर्भरां मे कामादिदोषरहितं कुरु मानसञ्च अतुलितबलधामं स्वर्णशैलाभदेहं धनुजवनकृशानं ज्ञानिनामग्रगण्यं सकलगुणनिधानं वानराणामधीशं रघुपतिप्रियभक्तं वातजातं नमामि कुन्देन्दीवरसुन्दरावतिबलौ विज्ञानधामावुभौ शोभाढ्यौ वरदन्विनौ श्रुतिनिधौ गोविप्रवृन्दाप्रियौ मायामानुषरूपिणौ रघुवरौ सद्धर्मवर्मौ हृदौ सीतान्वेषणतत्परौ पथिगतौ भक्तिप्रदौ तौ हिनौ ब्रह्माम्भोधिसमुद्भवं कलिमल प्रध्वंसनं चाव्ययं श्रीमत्शम्भुमुखेन्दुसुन्दरवरे संशोभितं सर्वदा संसारामयभेषजं सुमधुरं श्री जानकी जीवनम धन्यास्ते कृतिनः पिबन्ति सततम श्रीराम नामामृतम। गुरुदेव तुम्हारी जय जय हो, 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 गुरुदेव तुम्हारी जय जय। एक शूल मोहि बिसरन काऊ, गुर कर कोमल शील सुभाऊ, मोपहि होई न प्रति उपकार, बंदौ तव पद बारहि बारा, बंदौ तव पद बारहि बारा। सद्गुरु भगवान की जय।
हाँ,
सद्गुरु भगवान की जय। जय प्रभु। नोट से नहीं ना आपने?
नहीं। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यः ब्रह्मविद्या संप्रदायकर्तृभ्यः वंशर्षिभ्यः महद्भ्यः नमो गुरुभ्यः. The earlier passage presented Aksharam by the neti prakriya, not this, asthulam, ananu, ahasvam, adirgham. Thus all the visheshas or attributes were negated in Aksharam, in Brahma. A question may arise in the mind of someone as to whether Brahman of this nature, does it exist? When you are describing it as not this, not this, not this, not this, well, this description can as well apply to something which is not there also, which does not exist. Because what does not exist also can be described as not this, not this. And the idea of negation is to help us come to ourselves in all Upanishads. Because the general tendency of the student, he is indeed a sincere seeker. He wants to know Brahman. But the orientation is that we always seek to know it as something outside of ourselves. This is how all our knowledge has come so far. So far, all the knowledge has come to me involving a duality of knower and the known, where whatever I know is something that is an object of knowledge, something that is objectified by me, and this is how I am accustomed to know things. And then only I get real satisfaction that I have known something. Then I can objectify it. I think that when I objectify something like a flower, then alone I truly know it because it is direct perception. Not realizing that anything other than myself can never be known in its entirety, because at any time only one aspect of this, such as flower, is evident to me. When I am looking at the front, I do not see the back, and so on and so forth. At any time I can only have a partial knowledge of this. And however many times I turn around, and still the sum of the parts does not become the total. That is just by the way. And therefore, what is it that can be known in its entirety? Meaning that something other than myself cannot be known in its entirety, regardless of how much I strive. The only thing that can be known in its entirety is myself. But there the problem is that self cannot become the object of knowledge. I cannot know the self as I know the flower. And my tendency is to always create the duality of the knower and known when I am seeking to know something. So here, what the Upanishad wants is to help me drop all my struggle to know Aksharam or Brahman as something different from myself, enable me to know Aksharam as my own self. So the purpose of negating various attributes, Aksharam, Sasthulam, Ananu, Akrasvam, Adirgham, and so on and so forth, is all to negate the attributes of something that stands apart from me. And therefore, by negating the attributes, it is not to discourage me or frustrate me, but to help me drop the efforts of knowing Aksharam as different from myself, as an object of knowledge, and know it as myself. So when this Aksharam or immutable or Brahman was presented in the previous passage as not this, not this, not this, by negating the various adjectives, various attributes, a question can arise whether such an entity is there or not in the first place. Therefore, this passage presents an anumanam or inference to establish the existence of Brahman, Aksharam, God, whatever we call it. And therefore, Sri Jagnavalkya described it as, so here in this passage that we are studying, Aksharam or Brahman is presented as Prashasaka, as the ruler. Based on our observation that everything in the universe appears to be ruled, appears to be. We do not see the ruler. We find that everything in the universe functions in an orderly manner, in an obedient manner also. Not only orderly manner, but in an obedient manner. And that happens only when there is someone who establishes a rule. There is a boss to make sure that everyone functions in a systematic, orderly manner. So therefore, from the orderly functioning of the entities, from the orderly arrangement of the home, we know that the homemaker must be there. When you find that everything in the government office, everybody is sitting on their desk and doing something or the other, you know that the boss must be there. Even when we don't see him, still also, similarly also, here the Upanishad shows how the whole universe is functioning systematically in an orderly manner. And that cannot happen unless there is someone to establish that order. Because by nature, everything in the universe loves freedom. Nothing whatever accepts the idea of being controlled or, being restricted. Love of freedom is built into everything. And still you find that everything functions in an orderly manner as though ordered by somebody to function in a particular manner. From that we infer the existence of someone who is responsible for that order. That's called Shasaka, that's called the ruler. It's called Niyanta, that is called the controller. Etasya aksharasya prashasane gargi surya chandranasau viditav tishtataha. Hey Gargi, look at the sun and the moon. And both of them are known to be very large and powerful entities. They are self-shining, they are devatas. And devatas are generally credited with having unusual power and unusual knowledge. And more power and knowledge you have, more freedom you have. More freedom you have, less is the tendency to submit to anybody. So in spite of these entities such as sun and moon, being so powerful in terms of knowledge, in terms of also other siddhis or accomplishments, when you find them functioning in a very orderly manner, etasya akshasya prashasane gargi surya chandramasau vidratau tishtataha. Sun and the moon are as though held in their own respective places. Etasya akshasya prashasane gargi dhyava prasave vidrute tishtataha. He Gargi, in the mighty rule of this immutable, the earth and heaven also are held in their respective places. And then the time and the place and other entities such as rivers and all of these we find functioning in a very orderly manner. Other evidence is also presented here for establishing existence of that immutable, from which we understand that Ishvara is. As we have been saying, that we cannot prove the existence of Ishvara, but we can reasonably show that Ishvara must be there. Otherwise, we cannot explain the world as it is. To explain the world or the universe as we find it, that can be possible only when that is Ishvara, the ruler. Yadetat adhigatam aksharam sarvantaram sakshat aparokshat brahma. The Ishvara, the ruler now that the Shruti is pointing out to us, is that ruler different from the one who was presented as Atma? Yet sakshat aparokshat brahma atma sarvantara. That is direct, immediate Brahman, and that which is the self of all, innermost being of all. This is how the discussion started. And then you are talking about a ruler, so are we talking about two different entities? No. The one who was presented as a self or Atma, self of all, alone is being now presented here as the ruler to establish the possibility or plausibility of the world being ruled, and that ruler also, who is described as ruler, is none other than the one that was described earlier as Atma. Yatha rajñah prashasane rajyam asphutitam niyatam vartate. Just as when there is a king, we find that the kingdom is very well organized. It's together. The kingdom, all elements of kingdom are together because they're all ruled. They don't split apart. But that they all function in orderly manner. This is what we find. So even when we do not see a king, from that very vyavastha, or the very harmony or the order existing in the kingdom, we know that the king must be there. Evam etasya aksharasya prashasane gargi surya chandramasau. The sun and the moon, which are like the lamps, the sun shining like a lamp during the day, the moon shining like a lamp during the night. And Bhashyakara says that sun and moon, both of them are like the lamps and placed in appropriate places so that they can perform their function of illumination. The sun is so placed that he can illumine the world during day. The moon is so placed that it can illumine the world during the night. This is possible only when someone has placed them in these locations. Someone knows what their use is. That these are meant to be lamps to illumine. Also, how to employ these lamps so that they can perform their functions. For the sun to illumine the world also, the sun must be placed in its appropriate place. Then only it can illumine, not somewhere else that, Thus we find that sun, moon are able to perform their functions because they are so placed by someone who knows what functions they will perform, how they will perform, and therefore how they are located. Tasmadasti, that yenividrau, therefore there is that entity who holds in place this powerful entity such as the sun and moon. Paripakartuhu vidhataitruvata, one who knows how to create these lamps and how to place them, that entity must be there. Etasyava aksharasya prasasana gargi deha prasavya vidudutishtatah. Hey Gargi, under the mighty rule of this immutable, the heaven and Prithvi, the earth also are held in their respective positions. So what is so wonderful about that? So Bhashyakara says, Savayatva sutana svabhave. Earth is made up of a varied number of components assembled together, that becomes earth. A number of components assembled together becomes heaven. And when a number of components are held together, the natural tendency for them is to split apart. In the past, sometimes when we used to go for some pilgrimage, traveling like that, we all travel in bus. And the bus may stop, for a tea, etc. And then you have to see how the bus gets emptied, in no time. So one of our Swamis compared this, that there is this, the bullock cart, in which there is a heap of eggplant. And then they close that door. As soon as you open the door, how the eggplant just roll out. So as soon as the bus stops, everybody rolls out, Meaning that the fact that they were together was under duress, not willingly. So when you see everybody functioning together and this, that and so forth, sounds very good. But that will happen only when there is someone who is restraining them and controlling them to function in that manner. Gurutvat patana svabhave, Bhashyakara says, Prithvi, earth is a very heavy thing, and therefore it tends to fall down. They are all assembled from different components, so therefore they have a tendency to split apart. Sanyuktatvad yoga svabhave, because they are all assembled, therefore the tendency to split apart. And they are all presided over by a devata who is conscious entity, therefore they are all powerful and therefore they are independent, and still they function as though they are dependent. So this behavior of entities such as heaven and earth, now we look upon them as live entities, by the way. Because everyone is presided over by a presiding devata, Adhishthana devata. So Prithvi also is a devata, presided over by a conscious entity called the Prithvi devata, and so also heaven and so forth. And so all of them are conscious, they are all having a lot of knowledge and power. And therefore, if an ability to split apart and they are not doing it, that shows that there is someone who holds them together. Etadyaksharam sarvavyavastha setu. The setu is used in Brhadaranyaka Upanishad, more than one places. Setu is like a bond, or like a, that as I said yesterday, you build to split the water, so the water's free flow is arrested. And thus, this is a dam, for example, and the dam prevents the water from freely flowing. And dam that creates also a vyavastha. Similarly also in the universe everything follows its own vyavastha. That there is no intermixing of the duties, that one entity like sun doesn't say tomorrow I will do the duty of moon. What can moon do? I'm very powerful, he pushes away the moon and he continues. The moon says, hey, I won't allow the stars to shine at all. But every mighty entity also, when the time comes, gives up its chair, gives up its position, and allows the other one to come. So, that shows here. And that nobody does unless they are in a way compelled to do these things. So there is someone under whose rule they are doing it. Abhivichari tallingam yadhyava prasavyu niyate vartete. This is an unfailing evidence that the sun, earth and heaven, both of them, they function in an orderly manner. That shows that there is some entity who establishes order. In the page 20, line 22, Chetanavantam prashasitaramantaraena na etadyuktam uprashasitaram asamsaranam antaraena na etadyuktam yena dyohu ugra prasvicha dృఢా iti mantravarnāt. Chetanavantam prasaditaram asamsarinam. There must be a samsari. The niyanta must not be part of the assembly. The one who rules them is not part of the vyavastha. It can be that he is one of the officers and he rules everybody else. Therefore, the head of the department is not one who does accounting and stuff like that. He doesn't do it, he just supervises. Therefore, someone other than this earth and heaven and all of these must be there whose rule is responsible for the harmonious functioning of these entities. Chetanavantam prasaditaram asamsaranam. He must be a conscious entity. The ruler must be a conscious entity because ruling is an intelligent function. The ruler has placed his lamps such as the sun and moon in proper places, the earth and heaven in right places, and endowed with them appropriate abilities to perform their functions and make sure that they perform their function in a systematic manner. All of these calls for a conscious, intelligent entity. Not only that, but the ruler is not one of the ruled. That means he is not one of these officers who is also ruled and he alone he rules others. He must be one who is not part of the assembly. A samsari. Sometimes they do that. Swamiji, we have these two workers here. I appointed one of them as supervisor. So one supervises the other. You may do that for a while, but other fellow knows him very well. They've been working together. He alone knows what his weaknesses are, what his limitations are, and how to take advantage of that. So ruler cannot be one of them. Ruler has to be someone who is not part of this ruled. A samsari. All samsaris are there, and the one that rules is a samsari. He is not there. Other than him, it is not possible that this can take place. Yena dyauhu ugra prithvi cha dhra iti mantravarnat. Yena dyauhu ugra. So one who rules the powerful heaven and the firm prithvi. So dharma of the prithvi or earth is that it is dhrada, or it is firm. And dharma of the heaven is that it is shining and powerful. So one who keeps them in their place and in order, such an entity is there. Now continuing. On the page 21. एतस्य वा अक्षरस्य प्रशासने गार्गे निमेषाः मुहूर्ताः इत्येते काल अवयवाः सर्वस्य अतीत अनागत वर्तमानस्य जनिमतः कलयितारः यथा लोके प्रभुणान्यन्तः नियुक्तः गणकः सर्वं आयं व्ययं च अप्रमत्तो गणयति तथा प्रभुस्थानीयः येषां काल अवयवानां नियंता. So thus in this vyavastha, in this setup, you find that there are also accountants whose job it is to count. Count what is the income and what is the expenditure. That is their job, and that's what they constantly do. So here also you find the accountants. Who are they? Kala, or the time, is like an accountant. So nimeshaha, muhurtaha, muhurta 48 minutes, nimesha just the time, eyelid. So opening and closing of the eye is called nimesha. So beginning from all different units of time are there. Here is kala avayavaha. So here Upanishad mentions a few of them, that these are all different parts of time, or different units of time. Like seconds and minutes and hours and days and fortnights and months and years and so forth. Sarvasya atita anagata vartamanasya janimatah kalaitara. Whatever was past, and present and will be in future, meaning whatever is born, they are those who keep an account of everything that has gone by, everything that there is, and everything that will come. Who? The accountants are there. The time is accountant. यथा लोके प्रभुना नियुक्तः गणकः. Just like an accountant in the day-to-day life who is appointed in that place by the master. Sarvam ayam vyayam cha apramatah ganayati. Whatever is income, he counts it carefully, and whatever the expenditure also, he counts carefully. Because he is appointed to do that. Nobody will do anything carefully unless there is someone to make sure that you do it carefully. If there is someone who from time to time, let me count, let me see, what did you get today? Let me see what was just... So if there is someone like this who from time to time keeps track, otherwise even accountant also will become, hoti hai, chalti hai. But accountant also will do his job properly when there is a master who watches him. Tatha prabhusthaniya esham kala avayavanam niyanta. So it's so interesting, how many interesting observations are made here from our day-to-day life. So there is time. What's the big deal? But time, make sure that whatever was past, what is present, what is future, is all taken into account. But everything undergoes the process properly. Jayate, asti, vardate, viparinamate, pakshiyate, vinashyati. Everything goes through all these bhavas, all the modifications. It cannot happen that something is born and doesn't die. It doesn't grow, doesn't decay. This has to happen. And this cannot happen unless someone makes sure that this happens. We think that it is nature of this and then it grows. But here it says that this itself will not follow an order unless there is an entity which makes sure that it follows the order. This Shad Bhavaha, these are the 6 modifications of anything that is born. Asti, jayate, vardate, viparinamate, pakshiyate, vinashyati. Everything, every entity goes through the 6 states from birth to death, and it is not that first death comes and then birth comes. This comes, it doesn't happen that way. That first decay comes, then growth comes, etc. It doesn't happen. There is an order, and everything follows that order. And consistently, all the time, and that cannot be unless there is someone who makes sure that there is an order. So, prabhusthaniya esham kala avayavanam niyanta asti. Therefore, we can infer that there is a niyanta, the one who rules this time also, who is in place of that Prabhu or the Lord. So, from the observation of time also, it helps us to infer the presence of someone who rules this, all the processes taking place in time. Tatha pratyah praganchanaha purvadiggamanaha nadyah स्यन्दन्ते स्रवन्ति श्वेतेभ्यः हिमवदादिभ्यः पर्वतेभ्यः गिरिभ्यः गङ्गाद्याः नद्यः ताश्च यथा प्रवर्तिताः एव नियताः प्रवर्तन्ते. अन्यथापि प्रवर्तितुम् उत्सहन्त्यः तदेतद्लिङ्गम् प्रशास्तुः. So also you find very powerful rivers such as Ganga, Yamuna, Sindhu. Yatha prachya praganchanaha purvadigamanaha nadyah chandante. So you find, so Shvetebhya Parvatebhya, from these white mountains, means Himalayas, you find that several rivers flow eastward. Ganga Adyaha. So Ganga and other rivers flow eastward. Other rivers is Sindhu flow westward. Pravartita niyataha pravartante. So today Ganga thinks that I will flow from west to east. And some days, every day the same kind of route, let me change the route. And today let me go from west to east or east to west. For centuries and centuries, the Ganges is, and it's a very powerful, Ganges is a very powerful river because when the floods come, then she has flooded and destroyed so many things in the past. And so Narmada, and so Yamuna, all these rivers have from time to time shown their power. That it can be devastating. And still they don't do that and they flow within their boundaries. As ruled, as determined, as appointed. That's how we find them flowing, performing. They don't change their course. They don't generally transcend their boundaries. Anyathapi pravartitum utsahantyah. Even though these rivers are capable of functioning or flowing in a different way, and still they don't do. Tat etad lingam prashastuhu. There also is linga, there also is chinna or an evidence that there is a prashasta, a ruler, that there is powerful rivers also, who are otherwise capable of doing things differently, do it only in an orderly manner, in a prescribed manner. Pratichaha anyaha pratichim disham anchante sindhvadyanadyaha. Sindhu, etc., they flow in the opposite direction. So they from east to west they go, others from west to east they go. Anyascha yam yam disham anupravrittaha tam tam nabhyavicharanti tachalingam. And other rivers also, from east to west, west to east, north to south. And in the country like India, rivers flow in every direction in different regions. And they do as they are appointed to do. They never transgress the route, and thus that shows that there is someone who makes sure that they follow this rule, because otherwise Vyavastha won't be there. If Ganga starts flowing the other way after 15 days, this way, that way, no way, because so many villages and towns are all built on the bank of the river. And these Himalayas are actually feeding, I don't know, how many billion people between India and China and Nepal and so forth. Himalayan rivers are nourishing billions of people. And they have settled down in their settlements and the towns and cities, villages and cities, and the generations there are So this all could not be possible if the rivers were just, they decided what they wanted to do. This is a way of concluding. I mean, all these observations can be also, you can conclude things differently also, that this is all, Swami, this is all force of gravity, this, and you can always give us reasons as to why rivers are there and how the water comes and how it flows this way and that way. What you may call scientific reasons. But our point is that even their so-called scientific reason is also according to scientific law. So there must be so they follow that law. Even if you can calculate and describe the law which makes sure that these rivers function. But still there is a law which they follow. Nothing in the universe is that transgresses this law. We may not be able to understand every phenomenon in the universe, and so we may not know everything, what happens in every place. But whatever the law is there, that law is what we mean as niyanta. Whether the law of gravity is niyanta, or the fire goes upward, that's another niyanta. And so everybody follows their own nature, as though they are all so controlled. So we can arrive at the understanding in terms of laws as to why the natural phenomena are happening. But the fact remains that there is a law. There is predictability. And that shows that there is a niyanta who has established that law. But science will not go beyond law. Laws of physics and law, Newton's law and this law, that is all wonderful. But we go a step further and say that these laws are there which demonstrate that there is lawmaker. Not lawmaker means someone enforcer of the law, and there is a ruler. Which does not come in the purview of the Vijnana science. Science only accepts perception and inference. Oh, we are also the inference. But not inference that can be established. Can you show me in the laboratory God that you are talking about? No. You keep your God with you. But for us, we are saying all of this not as a proof of God. For us, the proof that God is comes only from Upanishad. We do not proudly declare that we can prove that there is God. We don't have to. For us, the buddhi is not the pramanam, but the shabda is pramanam, scripture is a pramanam. And Upanishad says, yes sarvajna, sarvavit, yes saisya mahima bhuvi, yes saisya mahima bhuvi. So Upanishad clearly says that is Ishvara, sarvajna, sarvavit. And millions of places described. So for us, the pramanam, or the means of knowledge for existence of Ishvara is Shruti. Accepting that, then we can provide various pointers, various evidences, as this Upanishad does, to support what the Shruti says. Because what the Upanishad says, what the scriptures say, we want also to understand. And in our tradition, we did not accept even what the Shruti or Vedas said just without thinking. What even Vedas says also should make sense to us. So this is to provide sense to what they say. Kincha dadataha hiranyadin prayachataha atmapidam kurvatopi pramanajna vimanasyaha prasamsante. we find that the Brahmanas praise those who donate. You know. In the world, the donors are always praised. Dadato manushya. Dadata, those who are givers. Hiranyadin prayachata, those who are donating. Hiranya, gold and others. Atma pidam kurotopi. That giving is not easy. Atma pidam kurotopi. Dukkhopajitasya dane manakheda prasiddha. Brahmana says, now bring 1 ounce of gold. I tell, come on, open that, that closet, open this, and get gold. When it's going, then something from here is going there, because that gold is acquired with a lot of effort. It did not come free. And so when I have to part with gold, I am parting with a little part of my heart. Meaning that giving always causes some pain. Otherwise not giving, our Swami used to say that, you give until it pinches. So usually giving always pinches. That's Atma Pidam Kurvatopi. Says, Dukkhopajitasya dane manahkheda prasiddha. That when you have to give something which you have acquired with a great effort, and when then you have to give it away, part with that, suddenly there is some pain within. You have to give it. After all, this is Kanyadanam, and then so the maternal uncle has to do this, they have a very big basket. You have to fill with all kinds of, precious gold and, ornaments and precious garments, and this is the Kanyadanam, which is the maternal uncle has to do. Now, when it does it, he's parting with something which is earned with a great amount of effort. So when something has to be, and this is just a custom. If you are doing it willingly yourself, but custom is you have to give. How much did he donate when a wedding took place in our place? He donated 100 rupees. Then you donate 100 rupees also when a wedding takes place there. So they all keep accounts of what donation. This is called Chalna in Gujarati. So what tika was done last time? He gave 100 rupees, so you have to give 100 rupees. They keep track of things. Because nobody will give 102 rupees, 101. This is a custom, Swami. Why are you giving so little? That is a custom. Meaning that giving always involves some pain, because nobody wants to part with something that is dear to them. And money is always dear, and particularly when it is earned with, a lot of exertion. Pramanajñāpi. And they are giving because they know. Hiranyadaha amrutatvam bhajante. It said somewhere that those who give gold in dhanam, they attain heaven. So because of that they give. But even then when they are giving, it is something that they have earned, with a great effort. So they give because the scriptures say that the giver, is rewarded very well. The donor of gold is rewarded very well, placed in heaven. So that is an incentive for me to give. While giving in any way, I have to give a part of my heart, So that does cause pain. So Bhashyakara says, Atma pidam kurvantopi. Then we will ask him, why do you give when it causes pain to you? Pramanajñāha, because says the giver of gold gains a place in heaven. Manusya prashamsante, and others always praise those who are giving or charitable people are always praised. They are given seat in a public place, on a platform, they are there, and then photographer also is there at the right time, and when he's giving check like this, and the picture, and then this newspaper. Tatra yacca diyate ye ca dadate ye ca pratigrannante tesham ihaiva samagamaha. Vilayascha anvakshaha drishyate adrishtastu parasamagamaha tathapi manushyaha dadadam danafalena sanyogam pashyantaha pramanajñataya prasamsante. Tatra yacca diyate, what is given such as gold? Yecha dadati, and those who give, the charitable people. Yecha pratigrunnanti, and those who receive the donation. Tesham ihave samagamo drishyate. The donor and the receiver of the donation, all these people, and then what is given? So donor, the receiver of donation, and gold such as things such as gold that is given. All of this samagama, they all come together, we see it in our pratyaksha, meaning that, and in front of us. Adushtastu parasamagamaha. The thing is that whether this fellow whom I am giving, whether he will return my favor or not, or whether Ishvara is watching this or not, or that I'll be rewarded for what is being done right now, we don't know. Atushta tu parasamagamaha, that we will also meet in heaven and then he will return the favor. These kind of things we do not know. Tathavi manushyaha dadatam danafalena sanyogam pashyanta pramanajñataya prasamsanti. And even then, people praise the charitable people, the donors are always praised, knowing that they are going to be rewarded. The reason why that donation is being given is because the donor also knows that I'm going to be rewarded, and people praise them because they also know that this is a good charitable act. It's an act of virtue or punya, and that they will be rewarded. Now, nobody has seen them. Who knows that they go to heaven where they are rewarded in the next birth and whatever. There is no way for us to determine this. And still we think that it's a very meritorious act, because that's what the scripture says, and therefore we look upon that as a meritorious act, and then we praise. So we praise the donors, because to donate is a charitable act and is a praiseworthy act, because that's what the scripture says. Whether the one who gives is rewarded or not, we don't know. Meaning that we do not know the karma we see, but karma phala we do not see. The same fellow is going to be rewarded in heaven or in next birth, etc. We do not know. And still we accept it and we praise this. That means we are accepting the existence of someone who makes note of this charitable act and who rewards them appropriately. If we did not know this vyavastha, that the one who donates also receives the appropriate compensation for his donation, here or hereafter, this we have heard, and then we know it from the scriptures, Puranas, etc. But there is no proof before our eyes that this person who donated is the one now, next year. So these two fellows are now in the past birth, this fellow was this and this fellow was this, he had done this and now, we don't know these things. So why is this fellow giving him today? Maybe he was going in past, who knows? Well, he is giving him today because in future he will get it. But this is what we learn, that whatever you give never fails. Endeavor never goes unrewarded. No good action goes unrewarded. Endeavor, even though we do not find people, we don't know who is the one who receives the benefit and who is, rewarding, but we have trust. How do we have trust? Because we know there is someone who makes note that in this birth X gave to Y. In next birth now Y has become this and X has become this, and this fellow is returning the favor. Sometimes we find that people just favor us for no reason. From nowhere somebody appears and we wonder how this happens. But in this universe of Bhagavan, nothing happens without a reason. And therefore the believers believe that, in past birth this fellow must have done something, or in future birth this something will happen, and so there's always a compensation for what you do. It never goes waste. And so even though we do not see ourselves, the result of this act of charity, we still perform the act of charity, knowing that it will be rewarded here or hereafter. And that is when there is somebody who is watching and making note of that, and that Ishvara is there. So in that also, in that Shraddha, the trust also, there is an acceptance of Ishvara. Okay, we'll continue. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrahashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Now there is going to be